Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Leal, and I am here today to talk about the energies of the next week from January 19th until January 25th. So, with the new moon in Capricorn of today, January 18th, we start the eclipse season. Certain astrologers could take the beginning of the eclipse season as the previous event to the first eclipse, which is the next full moon. But energetically, you could feel it from this moment, and naturally, we start to experiment this increase of energy that moves many internal and external aspects of our lives. And we could perceive the reality in a different way. You could be feeling a little bit weird, dreams with a lot of charge of messages. And well, events, are impulsing very important changes. So the transits of this week are totally related to transformation and change, precisely. So you could expect intensity and a lot of movement because all the planets that were transiting the last degrees of Capricorn are moving to Aquarius, and they have encounters with Pluto. So tomorrow, January 19th, Mercury in Capricorn perfects the sextile with Saturn in Pisces and the trine with Uranus retrograde in Taurus, and the Sun in Capricorn, the sextile with Neptune in Pisces. So these are the last aspects that we are going to have with them because of the things that I already explained in previous videos. All of these participates, Saturn and Uranus are, moving to new signs. And all of these participates of the new moon of today. These sextiles are aspect of opportunity. With Saturn, we are talking about deciding, having the conversation, communicating something that is in truly alignment with what we want in the long term. Could also be an aspect that helps us to establish healthy boundaries, not only with other people, but also with ourselves, with mental processes that are not helping, behaviors that are not being coherent with our goals. Procrastinating something that for us is important, or the other polarity, the over effort, investing energy in something that is not actually growing, that is only draining us. So the trine of Earth between Mercury and Uranus retrograde in Taurus could be the radical cut that we have already processed, a new idea that perhaps already emerged. I am saying this because Uranus is retrograde, and it could generate a little bit of resistance to implement. And right now, we are ready to descend that to Earth, letting go of internal dialogues of lack of value, giving another education to our own mind. That same day, here in Argentina at night, the sun enters in Aquarius, and this is the sign associated with innovation. That's why it is also very related to technology and disruptive changes that are impulsing us to let go of an old structure, to open ourselves to something new and that we didn't do before, or a new construction, because both the rulers are Saturn and Uranus. And this sign is related with the collective, the communities, groups of people that could join together for a cause, humanitarian cause. It is this energy of authenticity, of encouraging ourselves to be what we are, even if we feel a little bit different of the environment, because each one of us, we have something that could be considered as particular or even strange. It is that many times we make a lot of efforts of adaptation to belong. So Aquarius reminds us that the sense of belonging occurs when we are truly being genuine in who we are, and when we allow the revelation of the soul. And this, of course, involves going through conditionings and perceptions of what we thought that we were or we should be. It is precisely that unique quality of the individual as a fragment of the cosmos, the one that accomplishes a function that only that soul can accomplish in all the cosmic network. And even though from a higher perspective we are all equal in the sense that we are here experiencing this human life, we are all coming from the stars in our composition, the entire cosmos shares an essence. But that doesn't mean that we have to force ourselves to be like other people, because what configures a particular soul is what truly contributes to the collective. So what happens, it is that while the sun is approaching Pluto, while it's moving in mathematical degrees, and the rest of the planets, we have high Plutonian energy this week. This energy could be linked with experiences that could be a little bit of chaotic. I am not referring that you have to condition yourselves to expect something negative to happen. Many times it is the inner chaos to face aspects that remained unconscious and to transmute them. It is also aspects to take our power in situations that perhaps could make us feel resistant because of our fears. What happens with Pluto, that is in this sign officially from 2024, it is that on one side we could face circumstances that are activating our survival instinct, and the response could be that resistance to move forward, to make decisions, to make new things, or to seek for control in things that actually cannot be controlled, and that could generate the sensation of lack of freedom, or feeling controlled by something external. But could also, the other expression could be this childish rebellion, being against something, seeking, something or someone to blame for the things that we don't like in our own lives, projecting our patterns in other people or situations, and not approaching things in a resolutionary way. I don't know if I'm inventing this word, could be. But trying to force changes from an unconscious space. And for you to understand, this energy, of course, implies transgressions of old orders, but not because we are being rebelliousness from this inner child, which is the opposite axis, Leo, that of from this year, it is going to turn into the south node, the point of cleansing. We break with a norm or a rule of the clan or the system because we understand that that is not loving nor evolutionary anymore. It is not this anarchy without limits. It is choosing from the authenticity of the soul, even if there are people that are very closed in their ideas and cannot accept that, or society is not quite open to certain forms of thought or constructions. So I'm not going to enter too much today in collective things right now, but it is true that with these transits, this could uncover a lot of information, hidden information, both in the scientific level, astronomical, everything related to space is Aquarius, as much as great distortions, corruptions, abuses in groups, organizations, and access of power. So, on January 20th, for example, we have the union between Venus in Aquarius and Pluto. This is impacting our relationships and the ways that we are connecting with our resources, how we are giving value to ourselves. But again, in the grand scheme, these aspects in Aquarius are generating a lot of collective causes. And there is something very important about the Aquarian energy, which is that everything, the elements are responding to an interconnection. So many times we want to fight for something in particular, and of course there are thousands of things in our world that need to change and evolve. But if we observe, everything is emerging from the collective level of consciousness. And even though each one of us came here to take care of different things, the increasing of the consciousness over ourselves and in how we are acting in our immediate circle is truly important, because from that space we can make changes in essence, and they are not superficial revolutions that are hiding the same patterns, the same polarized patterns of behavior. But coming back to Venus, this could imply facing a change, detachment, a situation to create a field for a desire of the soul, which is Venus. Obviously, this could be related to a relational dynamic. Perhaps we were avoiding showing ourselves as we are, or we are participating of imbalances and lacks of reciprocity. And with this conjunction, it is, I don't want this no more. Venus and Pluto could also expose experiences where we are, trying to control things, dynamics of manipulation that we are exercising or that we are allowing, energetical abuses that we don't need to accept anymore. And also, we could talk about doing something different to open ourselves to a new creative form that could generate resistances because of this same fear of showing ourselves as we are or to learning something new. But it is vital right now to move the pieces and to feel plenitude, because Venus is the principle of pleasure. So these 10 days, Saturn in Pisces perfects this sextile with Uranus in Taurus. This has been active for a while. Is an aspect of long term. It is on track until Saturn moves to Aries, and when these two planets, when the planets, moving out of from Capricorn are contacting with them, well, they are activating this fluid energy to be coherent with our souls, to move to those new spaces, but. Coming from letting go of something that is conforming a false stability. Then Mercury in Capricorn perfects this sextile with Neptune in Pisces. It is also the last one, and we could reinforce right now the trust in the higher purposes, in the possibilities to materialize desires of the soul, and in what we need to do for those things to happen. But also could be like dissolving illusions or mechanisms of evasion that precisely are pushing us away from those forms of reality, that we truly desire. Later, Mercury enters in Aquarius and conforms the stellium, already enter in contact with Pluto. It is intensifying everything that I am saying from the beginning of the video. The thing is that on January 21st, the Sun and Mercury makes a conjunction, the superior conjunction, because Mercury is direct. When Mercury is retrograde, we call it the inferior conjunction. So it is good because this is a phase of much clarity, illumination. The Sun is the consciousness, and Mercury is our mental processes. So because it is given in a union with Pluto, could be this realization in a new level of the things that we are seeing our power, and that are actually, retiring our freedom, or how many times we want to force circumstances to feel that freedom. Could also enable this transformation of mental processes to give a space to new and enrichment perceptions. It is this sensation of connecting all the points, or reaching to this sudden understanding that is crucial for this phase. In its aspect of shadow, some people could be in much rejection of ways of thought that are pushing them to question what they already believed. And this could activate the projection, attacking what is different to what I thought. So, January 22nd, it is the perfection of this conjunction between Mercury and Pluto. And at last, on January 23rd, Mars in Capricorn perfects the last sextile that we are going to experiment in our lives with Neptune in Pisces. Also, it is a part of the whole week. It is acting in a concrete way regarding those dreams that I was mentioning before, or regarding what we already saw that is not being real, but an expectation pretty much disconnected from reality. Later, Mars enters in Aquarius, already activating the conjunction with Pluto, and the Sun perfects the conjunction with Pluto that same day. So, as I was saying, these aspects could remove a lot of anger that we could, throw to the outside, especially if we are not deepening in what occurs in ourselves and understanding the roots of our actions. This approaching of Mars and Pluto that is being perfected the next week, but without doubts, we are going to feel it with anticipation. Many times could mean scenes that are putting this strong pressure to move forward into something that we were avoiding to do, or could show in certain occasions how we are, fighting for something. Could be a humanitarian cause, for example. And I am mixing languages, and perhaps the motivations are the pain, the traumas, the inner aspects that are unconscious, that are taking us to visualize all that shadow that we are not seeing in ourselves, in someone or something, and deviate the energy in forms that actually are not producing a true evolutionary change, but it is truly about wanting to be right, imposing our ideas or our ways of perception. I think it is very important that if this activates very intense emotions, which could be, we could take distance, take a breath, and try to look at those situations in an objective way. Because this is the virtue of Aquarius, in fact, taking distance, being objective, to know how to act or respond. So we are not reactive, but we are taking an action that we are, doing from this elevated perspective and considering consequences. But also, this is in order to not allow certain kind of intimidations or abusive behaviors in the cases that correspond. I mean, there could be a lot of tendency to provoking, and that could activate parts of us that are causing discomfort because there are things that are not solved by people who have impulsive tendency. Certainly they will be called to regulate that, but for others it is to act in that they recognize that is correct for their soul without being violent, standing for themselves. So it is important to be aware when we are driving or physical activities in general, because when you are processing too much things inside, the energy of Aquarius is air, is mental. So many times this could disconnect us from our body, and we are not very aware of what we are doing. Right. I am going to end the video here. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.